Namaskar. My name is Dr. Vinita Singh and I'm a certified lifestyle medicine professional. I have done my certification from International Board of Lifestyle Medicine. I'm a holistic nutritionist and I'm a culinary coach as well. And I have done my course on culinary health education fundamentals from Harvard Medical School. In my presentation today, I will be speaking about sleep, various issues related to sleep, like how sleep happens, the physiology, and what harms and what bad effects does lack of sleep have on our health, and also the dietary choices, how dietary choices can influence our sleep quality. Let's begin the presentation. Allow me to begin this presentation with this quote. A good laugh and good sleep are the best cures in the doctor's book, and this is an Irish proverb. Needless to say that good sleep is crucial to our health and well-being. A few facts about sleep. One third of our lifespan we spend in sleeping. Sleep is an active physiological process. Some of us may think that we are only lying still and nothing is happening when we are sleeping. But this is not so. Actually, the body is at work and a lot of things are happening when we sleep. We may consume more energy when asleep than when we are awake, and this happens in brain. There are certain parts in the brain that consume way more energy when we are sleeping. A quality sleep is essential for the physical, cognitive, and psychological well being of a person. Unfortunately, studies have shown that people who are sleep deprived don't value the sleep so much. They think just 4 hours or 3 hours of sleep is enough for them. And I have heard people saying that whenever there is an important meeting or a presentation the next day, all they need to do is sleep just for an hour before this presentation and they are good to go and all charged up. But it is a fact that sleep deprivation does affect us at cellular level, at mental and psychological level, and in terms of our efficiency and cognitive skills as well. And we will see in subsequent slides how this happens. This presentation will be conducted under following sections: stages and physiology of sleep, effects of sleep deprivation, sleep hygiene, sleep quality, and plant-based diet. Moving on to section 1, stages and physiology of sleep. Sleep, the process of sleep, comprises of 4 stages. Stage 1, 2, and 3 are non-REM phase of sleep, and stage 4 is REM phase of sleep. REM stands for rapid eye movement. This is a characteristic feature of REM cycle stage of sleep. These stages keep repeating in cycles during sleep duration. So stage 1, 2, 3, 4, and then again stage 1, 2, 3, 4. And each such cycle lasts for about 90 to 120 minutes, roughly about on an average 100 odd minutes. Stage 1 or dozing off stage, this is the transition from wakeful to sleep stage. It is a very short duration stage that lasts for about max 5 minutes and it takes up about 5% of total sleep time. Stage 2 is deeper when compared with stage 1 and certain events happen during this stage. So what happens is vasodilation happens in extremities area due to which more blood flows into extremities, as a result of which core body temperature drops. And with this, heart rate also drops and respiratory rate also drops. And this is the longest duration stage and takes up about 45% of total sleep time. Stage 3 or slow wave sleep is the most restorative stage, the most important stage of sleep when we talk about repair, rejuvenation, and refreshing of the body systems. It takes up about 25% of total sleep time. A person, when in stage 3, is most difficult to be woken up, and even if he is or she is forcibly awakened, the sleep inertia lasts for about 30 to 60 minutes. During this phase, the person feels transient mental fogginess. The person is unable to comprehend the surroundings, unable to respond to external environmental stimuli, and the person is unable to answer, process information. And there is, this transient period, it lasts for about maximum an hour. During stage 3, major repair and rejuvenation work happens. So, when we are sleeping, for the duration of sleep, growth hormone levels rise, but they rise the maximum during stage 3 because this is the stage when maximum repair and rejuvenation work happens. So, new cells are formed and they replace old, damaged, worn out, and diseased cells. Muscle and bone growth also takes place during stage 3, and immune system function is strengthened during stage 3. Memory consolidation, forming of memories, this also takes place during stage 3. So, what happens? Whatever stimuli we receive from the environment, the brain receives this information and then it processes it and formulates the response. And after this, the total experience is stored as a memory, as a short term memory in the brain, in a certain section of the brain. Now, what happens? This short term memory will be changed into long term memory. Only those memories who are relevant and which the brain thinks that we may need these experiences later in life, those memories are stored as long-term memories inside the cortex. And this process starts during stage 3. Night walking and bedwetting also occurs during this stage if a person is living with these habits. REM sleep, or a stage 4 sleep. Not much is known about REM sleep stage. Not many the processes that are happening during this stage, and what all exactly, to be more specific, is happening inside the brain to the brain. Not much clarity has been achieved in this area, but research is going on, and very soon we will know what actually REM sleep is all about. For now, we know that this is a stage of sleep that is associated with dreaming. This is not a restful stage. Polysomnography taken during REM sleep stage shows almost similar graph as when the person is wakeful. The REM sleep cycle starts about 90 minutes after the sleep initiation, and the duration of first cycle is about 10 minutes. After that, it prolongs in duration. So the first half of sleep is dominated by N3 stage or slow wave sleep stage, stage 3, and the second half is predominantly REM sleep. Skeletal muscles remain atonic during REM sleep, and the only muscle exceptional are eye muscle and diaphragmatic respiratory muscles. These muscles remain active, other muscles are all atonic, and the breathing becomes erratic, heartbeat also becomes erratic, and there is rapid eyeball movement during this stage. Brain activity is continuing, and there is some opinion that self cleansing, the process of self cleansing that started in stage 3, may have continued in REM sleep stage also, but there is no definitive opinion or statement about this. A word on brain cleansing processes. So, when it comes to brain, it is a one-way street. Either it can receive information and process and make memories, or it can perform cognitive functions, or it can cleanse itself. So, during stage 3, when no stimuli and no impulses, no information is being received from the outside world because the person is deep in sleep, that is the time when the brain starts cleansing itself. And how it cleanses itself is with the help of lymphatic system and cerebrospinal fluid flow. So CSF flows in wave-like manner inside, outside, and literally flushes out the toxic metabolic waste products from the brain. And this toxic metabolic byproducts also include beta amyloid plaque. So we know beta amyloid is the plaque, and this deposition is associated with neurodegenerative disorders. So it just so happens that those people who are living with neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, or dementia, they show increased beta amyloid deposition inside the brain. Whether actually there is an association or not needs to be seen. A lot of research work is happening in this area also. So we will soon know whether these are interrelated or it is just a coincidental finding. But the fact remains that beta amyloid is a metabolic byproduct which brain needs to flush out from its system. Now, the sleep physiology, how the sleep actually happens. Circadian cycle of nature is the main player here, and the sleep cycle of humans is in accordance with the circadian cycle of nature. So when the darkness falls at the time of sunset, the sleep process initiates. The processes linked with sleep, associated with sleep, are started in the body. And when the sunrise happens, then the another set of processes that is linked to daytime activities initiated in the body. Suprachiasmatic nucleus or the central clock, it's a tiny part of the brain. This is the part that controls our synchronicity with the circadian cycle of nature. The biorhythm according to which our body aligned with the circadian cycle is called circadian rhythm. Like suprachiasmatic nucleus, every tissue, organ, and system in the body has its own peripheral, its own bioclock. And these clocks are called peripheral clocks. And these also perform various functions. We will get to know later when we see the next slide. Pineal gland. This is a gland situated at the base of brain, and this regulates the melatonin secretion. Now, this is just a diagrammatic representation of what all processes are happening when we are about to initiate sleep stages. So, retina receives the stimulus of darkness or light, and there are other environmental factors which also receive certain stimuli that are related to our sleep initiation. And these are eating, feeding patterns, like what time of the day do you eat your last meal? Is it like you have many social commitments during night time? Is it like some events are coming up, some festivals are coming up when you're required to stay till late at night and when you are expected to eat later at night? So all these factors, they affect our sleep cycles, and the impulse is received by suprachiasmatic nucleus regarding sleep patterns. Suprachiasmatic nucleus communicates with the peripheral clocks, and it also communicates with the pineal gland. So the peripheral clocks on communication, they regulate certain other activities which are related to sleep onset, and these are core body temperature. We know core body temperature drops for sleep to begin, and this is a function of peripheral clock. Hormonal rhythm. There are several hormones and neurotransmitter secretions which are associated with sleep, and there is a very delicate balance that exists between levels of these hormones. So this is all also regulated by peripheral clocks and feeding pattern. Are we late night eaters, or do we eat at the appropriate time, a few hours before sleep time? So all those features are also controlled by peripheral clocks. SCN, like we are seeing here, also communicates with pineal gland, and pineal gland is the one that is responsible for regulation of melatonin secretion. Now, hormones associated with sleep, the most crucial one, melatonin. This is the sleep hormone. It is secreted by pineal gland, and it is responsible for onset and maintenance of sleep. Cortisol, we know it as stress hormone. So when the sleep has to happen for a good quality sleep, cortisol levels must go down, and this is exactly what happens. So cortisol levels fall when the sleep is about to begin. So while melatonin levels are beginning to rise, the cortisol levels are beginning to fall. Growth hormone, it is secreted by pituitary gland. Cortisol, on the other hand, was secreted by adrenal glands. Now, growth hormone levels remain higher all throughout the sleep duration, but they are a little more high when it comes to stage 3, because this is the stage that is associated with repair and rejuvenation work in a major way. Leptin is the satiety hormone. It is secreted by adipocytes, and leptin signals the brain that no food is required. Feeding can be, postponed because no food is required. So this is important, and this is crucial for maintaining the sleep. ADH, or antidiuretic hormone, again secreted by pituitary gland, and this works at suppressing the urge to visit washroom during sleep time. So all these hormones work together in delicate balance for maintaining the quality of sleep. Section 2, effects of sleep deprivation. Let's have a look at how lack of sleep affects our body functions. When there is a lack of sleep, the hormonal balance is disturbed, as a result of which leptin levels fall. When leptin levels fall, the ghrelin levels also somehow rise at the same time. The cortisol levels also rise because sleep deprivation leads to rise in cortisol levels. And all this together leads to excess hunger. Excess food intake also follows. And when a person is not feeling sleepy, when the person understands that he should be feeling sleepy, at that time the person will never want to go to the kitchen and cook something healthy. They will reach out for something that is easily available, easy to eat, and that gives them instant calories. And what better than finding a packaged ultra processed food off the shelf. And this is what the people are used to doing when they wake up at night for late night binging. And this habit is, however, related to weight gain, because such people who are sleep deprived, they generally tend to have higher body mass index. They are more prone to weight gain, more prone to obesity, more prone to fluid retention, and more prone to higher salt intake. So all this together may cause obesity problem in such people who are sleep deprived. Glucose tolerance decreases when there is lack of sleep, and by up to almost 40%. So normally when glucose tolerance decreases, the cells also become insulin resistant at the same time. Under normal case scenario, this would have caused more insulin secretion, but in sleep deprived people, this doesn't happen because beta cell function also gets impaired because of sleep deprivation, as a result of which this may be an increased risk for type 2 diabetes. Cardiovascular health is also compromised when a person is sleep deprived. So these three changes happen inside the body. Increased sympathetic tone, and this is associated with increased levels of cortisol, increased inflammation, raised high sensitivity C-reactive protein test levels indicate presence of inflammation, rather acute inflammation in the body when a person is sleep deprived, and natural killer cell response is decreased. So all these together can harm the cardiovascular health, and there is an increased risk of high blood pressure, palpitations, arrhythmia, irregular heartbeat, and coronary heart disease. Sleep and immune system function also are interrelated, and poor sleep or sleep deprivation can cause immune system function to be compromised. There are two factors that affect immune system function during sleep. One is melatonin secretion. So melatonin has an immunomodulatory effect, and it also has an anti-inflammatory effect. Since it has these two effects, it works to support the immune system function. Also, during stage 3 sleep, cytokines are released, and these cytokines also support the immune system function. When a person is sleep deprived, these two benefits are not available, and because of which immune system function suffers. And the effect of sleep deprivation can be seen by the way a sleep deprived person can be actually susceptible and more prone to catching common infections like cold, GI upsets, that is stomach upsets, and sometimes even cancer in extreme cases. So incidence of breast cancer and colorectal cancer are higher by almost 4% in people who are sleep deprived. Cognitive functions are also affected by sleep deprivation. Cognitive functions are the functions that need some amount of mental ability, like reading, writing, learning, memory, memorizing certain plays, and comprehending a situation, formulating response to a given situation, and learning new activities like dancing and writing and the likes. So these are all cognitive functions. Memory happens to be a very important component of all cognitive functions, and because sleep deprivation affects the memory, our memory process, the memory storage, and the memory recall gets affected by lack of sleep. Therefore, cognitive functions also take a beating when we are sleep deprived. And actually, impaired cognitive skills can be really dangerous. If we are sleepy and we are driving, it can be very risky. It can be sometimes as risky as driving when somebody is drunk. Studies have shown that 18 hours of sleep debt is equal to blood alcohol concentration of about 0.05%. So, blood alcohol concentration of 0.08% is considered an accepted standard at which you can officially announce a person drunk. Now, BAC of 0.05% at 18 hours of sleep debt is what has been observed. These are almost equivalent. And 24 hours of sleep debt is almost equivalent to blood alcohol concentration of 0.1%. That has surpassed the limit at which a person can be pronounced drunk. So it can be extremely, extremely seriously threatening. And micro sleep are short episodes of sudden burst of sleep, and a person who sleep deprived can face these episodes, and it is especially risky and can even be fatal when the person is driving or when the person is handling heavy machinery. Less than 15% REM sleep has been associated with 15% higher all cause mortality. So, we know 20% to 25% of REM sleep is what is adequate amount of REM sleep. And if we sleep less than 15%, this happens in sleep deprived people. So the chances, the risk of all cause mortality rises by almost 15% in such cases. Move on to section 3, sleep hygiene. Till now, we have seen what goes into this process called sleep and how it happens, how sleep deprivation affects our health. And now let's have a look at those practices and methods that we can adopt to sleep better at night time. Ideal nighttime sleep duration is about 7 to 9 hours. Sleep duration has a U-shaped relationship with risk of diseases. So if we sleep for less number of hours, then risk of diseases is higher. And if we sleep for more than required number of hours, more than 9 hours of sleep, even then the risk of diseases is higher. Sleep hygiene actually is a cluster of practices and methods that we adopt for getting a good quality nighttime sleep. So set your sleep schedule, follow a night routine, cultivate a healthy habit, and bedroom optimization. Set your sleep schedule. Have a fixed wake up and sleep time. Sleep at 10 o'clock at night and wake up at 5 or 5:30 in the morning, just before sunrise. These are the ideal sleep times for most people. Don't overdo daytime naps. Even if you must sleep during daytime, it should never be more than 20 to 30 minutes. And it should be in first half of the day. In second half of the day, if you take a nap, then it will compromise your sleep quality at night time. Go slow with changes, even if you think you have come to realize that you are sleeping erratic and you need to change your timing of sleep, then go slow, make gradual changes because otherwise your body will not be able to accept it. Follow a night routine. So, this night routine is to train your brain, kind of signal the brain that now it is time to sleep. So follow same routine daily so that the brain is trained that when these activities start, it is time for the person to go to sleep. Dim lights about an hour before the bedtime. Keep away electronic gadgets, and this is for two reasons. One, electronic gadgets emit blue light, which signals to the brain that it is still light time and the darkness has not come. So melatonin secretion will be compromised, thus compromising the sleep quality. And second thing is It feeds a lot of information to the brain, keeping in touch with the electronic gadgets like mobile, your laptop, your computer, your TV screen. So this excess information at the time when your brain wants to relax and go to sleep is not really a good idea. So keep your electronic items, electronic gadgets away about an hour before your bedtime. Relaxation methods are a good idea to calm down before your sleep time. So you can do a progressive muscle relaxation, yoga nidra, if you have learned these two methods. You can even meditate at night time before sleeping. If nothing works for you, or if you think you don't have much time for all these activities, then what you can do easily is deep breathing. Sit quietly in a place in a dimly lit corner, and just keep breathing deeply, and breathe through your stomach, not through your chest. This is called diaphragmatic breathing. And breathe for 2 to 3 minutes like this, and then go to sleep. Toss and turn in your bed. So if you get into your bed and you realize that for about 20 minutes you haven't been sleeping at all, you're not feeling sleepy, then get out of your bed, just fidget around in your home. Don't do anything that requires much focus or concentrating on a particular thing. Just be up and about, and then after some time you come back and lie in your bed again. Again, if you're not able to sleep, just get out of your bed. Wait for 20 minutes. If again you're not sleeping, then get out of your bed and do something similar that you did last time. Idea is to train the brain that the moment you are into the bed, you've got to sleep. So this will happen gradually over a period of time. And one day will come when the moment you get into bed, you will go off to sleep. Take a hot water bath. This helps in vasodilation in extremities so that more blood can flow out of your core body, and core body temperature drops, because this is going to facilitate in sleep initiation. Cultivate healthy habits during daytime. Exercise is a must. 180 minutes per week for 5 days minimum in a week is what is recommended. I would say make it 1 hour. So 60 minutes per day for minimum 5 days in a week is a good idea. Go out in the sun daily. This is to reset your circadian rhythm. Reduce substances of abuse, nicotine, alcohol. These are stimulatory. These stimulate your brain. So these should be done away with if you want to sleep well at night. So no caffeine after 3 o'clock, because caffeine also stimulates your brain, and once consumed, it stays in your blood for considerable amount of time. Therefore, no caffeine after 3 o'clock, because it is for 7 or 8 hours that stays in your blood. And during this period, it can affect your sleep adversely. No late dinners either, because these also set your digestive system into work. And if digestive system is working and core body temperature is trying to drop, then these are two contradictory things, and this may wreak havoc with your sleep quality. Bedroom optimization. Comfortable bed. Your mattresses, your pillows, the sheets you're going to sleep in, all must be of your choice, all must be very, very comfortable, something that you like to be in at the end of the day. Comfortable temperature in your bedroom also is a must. So ideally 21 or 22 degrees centigrade is considered ideal for bedroom. No light or noise should enter your bedroom. For this, you can use thick, heavy curtains, and you can soundproof your doors and windows. And also you can use earplugs or even eye masks if necessary to block out light and noise. There are certain essential oils that help in peaceful, restful sleep at night. And these are lavender and chamomile. You can use them in your diffuser in your bedroom. And now the final section, effect of diet on sleep. We can choose to have a high carb, high fat, or high protein diet for various reasons. Let's have a look at how it matters to our sleep quality. So high carb diet. High carb diet, when it contains a lot of simple carbohydrates, about 80% of carbohydrates, and that too simple carbohydrates like noodles, confectionery, sweetened beverages, sweetened soda, etc. It affects the sleep quality in a poor way. It adversely affects the sleep quality. And the REM period, the duration for REM phase is prolonged. The NREM phase is shortened, and somehow the sleep quality is compromised and it is adversely affected. High fat diet. High fat diet, especially in combination with low carb diet, adversely affects our sleep because tryptophan availability goes down, and at the same time the REM phase, it has been shown in studies, is shortened. NREM state is NREM, especially SWS or slow wave sleep, is also shortened. The quality suffers, and there are multiple arousals in stage 1 and 2. So, to sum it up, I would say sleep quality is poorer, and the person keeps waking up at night many times. So, the sleep is disturbed when a person is on a high fat diet, and especially in combination with low carb diet. We will have a look at high fiber diet later. For high protein diet, now what happens is again tryptophan availability is compromised if it is animal protein diet. And what happens is there is another molecule, LNAA, large neutral amino acids. Tryptophan also happens to be one of those, but then there are several others. So this ratio changes. Tryptophan is to large neutral amino acid molecules. So this ratio changes, because of which tryptophan availability to the brain declines, it falls, and because of which serotonin and melatonin are not produced in sufficient amount, because of which sleep quality is, it suffers. However, if the protein is plant protein, then no such thing happens. Tryptophan is available in sufficient amount, and adequate amounts of melatonin and serotonin are produced. However, sleep quality is compromised when a person is on a high protein diet. There is another disadvantage with high protein diet. If a person is on high animal protein diet, then the environment created in the body is acidogenic. An acidogenic environment in the body raises cortisol levels in the body, as a result of which sleep quality will be compromised. And now high fiber diet. High fiber diet is the one that is most favorable for sleep. So REM period is prolonged. NREM stage 3 is prolonged, and there are hardly any arousals at night. Number of arousals decrease, and the quality of sleep is excellent. So, which means that all these researches and studies have proven that whole foods, plant-based diet, which is low fat in quality, is the best choice when it comes to adequate sleep and high quality of sleep. Nutrients that help you sleep. We have seen that high fiber diets are the ones that are most favorable for a good restful night's sleep. Now let's have a look at nutrients that help us sleep. Tryptophan. This is the essential amino acid which is needed for synthesis of serotonin and then melatonin. And this needs to be gotten from the diet, because this is an essential amino acid and the body does not manufacture it on its own. There are foods that are super rich in tryptophan: bananas, nuts and seeds like walnuts, pumpkin seeds, and then oats, and then dark leafy greens. These are all the foods that are rich in tryptophan. Next nutrient is magnesium. Magnesium binds with benzodiazepine receptors in the brain and thus produces this calmness and anxiety reducing effect, which we call anxiolytic. So this is how it also has beneficial effect on sleep quality. And the foods that are rich in magnesium are bananas, again, nuts and seeds, whole grains, and like quinoa, whole wheats, peas, peanuts, and soy products. Soy is extremely rich in magnesium as well as tryptophan. Then vitamin B6, pyridoxine. Vitamin B6 is needed for synthesis of melatonin, and there are certain foods like apples that are rich in vitamin B6. Folate. Folate is the naturally occurring form of folic acid, and this is also needed for maintaining good sleep efficiency. And these are the nutrients that one must have from their diet for a good quality sleep. Now, since I'm a culinary coach, I thought it appropriate to give out certain examples of snack foods that one can have to improve sleep quality. These foods, I suggest, should be had about 3 to 4 hours before sleep time. So, number one, apple slices with peanut butter. So, apple slices are rich in vitamin B6, and I would say peanut butter contains peanuts, and peanuts are rich in magnesium and tryptophan. So together, it is a cocktail for all the things that one needs for a good quality sleep. Oats soy milk pudding topped with banana slices. We know oats and soy both are rich in magnesium and they are rich in tryptophan, and banana also contains both these elements, and this makes for a good adequate supply of tryptophan as well as magnesium, and a person is likely to sleep well. Raw nuts and seeds mix, again, they contain all these things. They contain vitamin B complex, they contain magnesium, they contain tryptophan, and a person is likely going to sleep well if the person consumes all this during late afternoon time. Cucumbers with green chutney. This comes as a surprise because nobody thought about cucumbers as a good food for, high quality sleep. So cucumbers, it so happens that are extremely rich in magnesium. They are a good source of magnesium, and green chutney contains, you make a green chutney with dark leafy greens. You put in spinach, you put in mustard leaves, you put in other, dark leafy green vegetables like kale, and you also put in some basil, add in a dash of lime juice, add in some salt and some black pepper, mix them together. You can also add some garlic as a flavor and mix it all up and eat it with cucumber sticks. It makes for a good tasty snack, and the main thing about all these four suggestions is that these are very low in fat, these are very high in their fiber content, and also they contain tryptophan, magnesium, all these things that we need for sleeping well at night time. So I hope you try them out and enjoy them. Now, herbs that help with sleep. So there are certain herbs like valerian root, chamomile, and lavender that are really good at inducing good quality sleep. Valerian root also contains some small amounts of GABA or gamma amino butyric acid, and this again binds with the benzodiazepine receptors in the brain, and this is why it exerts a calming effect. Chamomile and lavender, both these have calming qualities. They are anxiolytic, epigenin in chamomile and silexian in lavender. These are active ingredients and they help calm us down, and as a result of which they improve sleep quality also. These are best consumed as tea. Powdered herb may not be really needed. It is best to use them, consume them as tea. And a word of caution for valerian root. Valerian root is not safe for pregnant and lactating women, and its efficacy and its safety has not been tested on children below 3 years of age. Therefore, it is best to avoid valerian root for these two group of people, children below 3 years of age and for women who are pregnant or lactating. Others can take these safely. These herbs are relatively safe to use. Side effects are very mild, if at all, and are limited to nausea, some allergic rash sometimes, and stomach upset at best. Reference links from where I have taken material for this presentation. And this brings us to the end of this presentation. In the end, I would like to say that yet again, it has been proved that whole plant-based foods are the best food choice. They don't just minimize the risk of chronic non-communicable diseases in our, society. They also are good at inducing good quality sleep at night time. They also help us in improving our mental and cognitive health, and they are good in every possible way. Thank you so much.